this idea of expanding the powers, but when the vote actually comes down, will the support be there?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a coalition of Republicans and Democrats. And, Republicans and Democrats that I've talked to, particularly Democrats, have said that these conversations have been happening, informally, quietly over the last week, 2 weeks about what a consensus candidate, a consensus speaker, a consensus resolution here would look like. And I think empowering McHenry is sort of the popular solution that's emerging out of those conversations. So we'll have to see. Democrats have been united in their support of Mr. Jeffries, the minority leader. And we're going to have to see if enough Republicans and enough Democrats will come together to get that level of support to empower McHenry as the temporary Speaker of the House.
What's your sense on if the House Freedom Caucus and those who align themselves with the Freedom Caucus, their level of support for the expansion of power?
I don't think that there's going to be a ton of support for that. I mean, Mr. McHenry himself, a staunch McCarthy ally, somebody who helped negotiate the debt limit deal, has been by McCarthy's side in a lot of the happenings that the Freedom Caucus had problems with McCarthy about. So I don't think it's going to be popular on that side of the Republican conference. Again, that's why I think it's going to take some coalition of moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats, center left and center right lawmakers to push that across the finish line.
So we've talked about a lot of things, particularly what are you interested in watching today?
Well, first, we're going to have to see what the vote is for Mr. Jordan, whether that goes up or whether that goes down. We do expect him to flip some members who were no's yesterday. Some have said publicly that they voted no on Jordan on the first ballot, but plan to vote yes on the second ballot. Whether that can compensate for the moderate
At this point, I
detractors
think
that he's
it's
going to pick
anything's
up
possible.
in
I
the
think it's
second ballot. And
100%
then
possible
secondly,
that
if they do move to vote for this
he won't
resolution to empower
get the
McHenry,
votes this time
what
around.
level of
But I'm
Democratic
really gonna
support
be
does it
ticked
have? What
if they just
portion
don't go
of
ahead
the
and go
Democratic Party
through
is willing to partner with
with
Republicans, and
voting
then
again.
what portion of the
I
Republican
don't want
Party
them
is
to be
even
like,
interested
oh, well,
in
we voted
empowering
once and now
McHenry
we gotta
as
try to
the
have all these
temporary speaker? I think that
conversations in
those
private.
are key things to look out
Fuck
for
that.
as we go
Do what
through
you did
this
with
process yet
McCarthy.
again
Go
today.
3
Stephen
rounds. Go
Newcomb
5
reports
rounds
on
until we
Congress
finally
for
wear
the
everyone
Messenger.
down.
You can find his work online here to talk about what to expect today when it comes to this speaker election. Mr. Newcomb, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
202 748 8921 for Republicans, Democrats 202 748 8920, and others 202 748 8922. Feel free to text us at 202 748 8903 and then post on our social media sites as well. They're establishing the call of the House right now, and once that's done and they get to the actual process of voting, we will take you back to the House floor. Your calls until then. Angie in New York, thanks for waiting. Republican line, you start us off. Good morning.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm going for Jordan. I'm going for Jordan. I want Jordan to be speaker because I want to know where our money is going. All the money that's sent to Ukraine, Iran, everything. I want to know about where all of that is going to. I think that a lot of the non-voters are afraid of Jordan because he's going to investigate and find out a lot of stuff, like who's corrupt, who's not, who's been, like, I guess Don Bacon, there's something that just came out that he's getting money from China. So.
Okay, let's hear from Tanisha in Texas on our others line.
Good morning. So I am calling to kind of point out as an independent that every time the Democrats come to the floor, they might fight behind scenes, but they are in lockstep. They come as a group. And that's pretty impressive. Whereas Republicans, they come on the floor, they can't get their act together. They can't come as one. They always defeat themselves. They always shoot themselves in the foot. That being said, I do support Jordan as a speaker. So I think they need to get their act together. The other thing I noticed is when Republican callers call in, if they start to talk about Trump, they're typically cut off. or defend Trump. But I noticed with Democrat callers, if they want to bash Trump, they're allowed to speak. So from an independent point of view, it is obvious that.
Okay, but as an independent, why Jim Jordan?
I think the lady from New York summed it up pretty well. I want to know where our money's going, and I think he's going to do that. And I think some Republicans are afraid about that.
Democrats line from New York. This is Barry. Hello.
Hi there. I just want to say in general, listening to the Republican comments, it makes me realize how little they have to say of interest to me, and probably how little of interest I have to say to them. But as a practical matter, I'm noting that on the first ballot, that Valadao, Ciscomani, Steele, Schweikert, Duarte, Kane, Nunn, Molinaro, Williams, Van Orden, and Calvert, all in very toss-up districts, all voted for Jordan. So I want to thank them for giving us ammunition, because come 2024 election, so far as I'm concerned, we're going to target them and kick them out.
Okay. Republican line from Karen. This is Karen in Michigan. Hello.
Hi, I'm calling to voice my support for Jordan and to those who seek the truth and to move American families back from the high costs of living, which are unsustainable for American families, dangerously deadly open borders, and also to voice my disdain and shock of John James, whom I voted for, sent him cash, had a yard sign, attended his events. He was quickly compromised by donations from questionable sources. See Laura Loomer's Twitter feed. Also,
okay, well, let's go back to Jim Jordan. Why specifically are you supporting him?
Pardon me?
Why are you supporting Jim Jordan specifically?
Because I believe that he will absolutely seek the truth, seek facts, and try to pull back the deadly and dangerous stopping of the energy sources, exploration
the challenge
in
is
the U.S.
that
I
the
think
House
that he
can
will help to put the brakes on sending
vote
our
on a
money
lot
that
of
we
different
don't
things,
have to Ukraine.
but then what
to fund
happens when it
Ukrainian
gets to the
Nazis,
Senate?
like Bone-faced Kent McClellan that was in
If we want it
Florida
passed,
recently
we've
with
got to
others
give
that were also
the Democrats
Okay, we'll leave it there. Let's go to our independent line. Let's
reason
go
to
to Thomas
sign
in
off on
Maryland.
it.
Hi.
And
Hi, I'm calling
that's
from
kind of
Maryland.
the
I
crux.
actually grew up
I
in the
think that
Maryland
we're in with
suburbs.
trying to pass a lot of
I
these bills
started
that
in
everyone
politics
wants to see.
in 59-60 with Kennedy, so I voted for Kennedy. I'm an independent. I lean conservative. And one observation I'll make is this nation is so unbelievably divided. I don't even know if there's any room for getting together on either side. Both sides are at fault. That being said, I'm curious to know the Republicans that are dissenting from Jordan, what exactly is their objection?
Okay. That is a viewer there, and we continue on with your calls. About 80 people yet to register their presence as far as the call to order is concerned. After that, the nomination process starting. Again, if you watched it yesterday, name by name and person by person as they register who they will support for the next Speaker of the House. Let's hear from Jonathan. Jonathan is in Vincenttown, New Jersey, Democrats line.
Hi, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, no. So one of the observations that I'd like to make is that, I've heard there's a motion to put McHenry on the floor. I definitely don't see that Jordan has the votes at this point. And I think that the question for Democrats, especially for Hakeem Jeffries, is optics over government. I think that they definitely demonstrated that optics were more important to them when they voted to oust McCarthy. And I do see I don't really see them helping to elect McHenry at this point when it serves, the mission of flipping the House, not to elect McHenry. But in terms of Jordan, I definitely see him as an extremist, and I don't think he has the votes right now. I've actually heard that he's going to lose votes today. And I think that as it goes on, you're going to see more people start to flip away from him.
200 votes for Mr. Jordan yesterday, 20 Republicans pushing back against him when it came to the tally from yesterday's election. How that number changes, we'll see as it plays out there. Again, the first step, so to speak, is to finish the call of the House and then move on to the actual voting process. Kerry in Alabama, Republican line. Hi.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. I say we just get together as the Republicans and vote. If it's not Jordan, let's get it together and vote somebody as Speaker of the House. Too much stuff is going on that we need to address. If the Republicans would do like the Democrats do, unite, wrong or right, but most of the time they're in the wrong, and just say, Jesus is coming. We got to get ready.
But if it's as far as they can't center around Jim Jordan, what Republican do you think they can center around?
Well, I don't care who it is. I do care, but we just need to gather around just one person and let's get this stuff going. It's just crazy.
Again, you can see this play out on C-SPAN, our main channel there. If you want to keep watching there, perhaps you have to be out and about today. Feel free to follow along on our mobile app at C-SPAN Now and on your computer at cspan.org as we watch and wait to see what happens on the events of today. We'll hear from Arizona. Independent Line, this is Gabriel. Hello.
Hello, this is Gabrielle. I would like to know why people are supporting any of these America First caucus people. Do they not recall what happened in the past in 1939 to 1941 with America First people? They were the ones who supported Hitler. And they call themselves Americans? I question their mentality.
This is Tanner, Richmond, Virginia, Democrats line.
Hi there. Yeah, I would just like to say this speaks so much to the division in this country. Democrats and Republicans seem to more and more in years going by. You're on your side of the aisle, I am on mine, and we're not going to reach. And now that's coming for the Republican Party itself. There's division, and they can't seem to get it done. They can't seem to come together as a caucus. The Democrats are in lockstep. They're showing their support for their person, and I think that's wonderful. I think during their nominating speech, their one slip was a lot of mention of things speaking more towards what the Republicans did and not towards what Hakeem Jeffries has done himself. But otherwise, I think the Democrats are making a great show of this, and I really think this is just bad for the Republicans for the future elections. I can't say anything else but that.
A member of the leadership from both sides will make the pitch for their various representatives as far as Speaker of the House concerned. So expect to hear someone supporting and praising Jim Jordan for the job, and Hakeem Jeffries the same. Again, all part of the process as it plays out. John in New York, Republican line.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. The area in which I live is a Republican stronghold, and I'm involved in local politics. The resounding opinion here is why did the Republicans even put Jordan up? He's an election denier. He's part of the insurrection. There has to be a better Republican representative to support Speaker of the House. We're all Americans. Let's do what is best for America.
Which Republican would you put support?
Scalise was a good selection, and I don't know why he is not part of the vote. Scalise would have been good, and there's a couple of other candidates I think that would have been good. I would prefer a moderate Republican who can look to the other side of the aisle to work with Democrats as well. This is what is best for America. We need to follow the word of the Constitution. and that's my opinion. Thank you very much for allowing me to call in.
Okay, Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana was at one time set, or at least in the process of becoming the House Speaker, took himself out of the running when support couldn't happen for him. Now that's turned to Jim Jordan. Again, we'll see how that goes as we wait for this call of the House to happen with 16 people yet to click in and complete the process. We'll take those calls up until then, and you'll get to watch it in real time, gavel to gavel, as it plays out throughout the course of the day. Let's go to Michigan Independent Line. This is William. Hi there.
Yes, thank you for having me. My concern is with Jordan. Really, he shouldn't be. He's the worst choice. He's been in there for 16 years and has produced no legislation. That's his only job, and it's a bigger problem than the party in general. I used to like some of the Republicans. Now they seem to promote the worst amongst them. Basically, you have just the dregs of society being put into positions of power. I just don't understand it. It's the dumbing down of America, at least in the Republican Party right now.
Okay. This is Angela in Kansas, Democrats line.
Hi, I would just like to say I'm a Democrat, but I want McNary in there. I want someone who's going to work with the other side. Jordan would know the truth if it hit him in the face. I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. I am a Democrat, but I want us all to work together. We are in crisis right now. We need someone to lead us and not do all this other obscure crap that they're doing, these far-right Republicans. We just need people to come together as Americans and support American country. I want McNary in there. I think he's the best. He has worked with the White House. He has done the debt. I just feel like if a Republican's going to be in there, we have to have somebody we can trust, and we cannot trust Jordan at all.
We're down to single digits as far as this call of the House process is concerned, so we'll go back to the House in probably a minute or so from now. Let's go to Missouri Republican line. Barney, hello. Go ahead and jump on in.
Yes, I am in support of Jordan. Everybody talks about obeying the Constitution, and what I've seen since Biden election is nobody obeys the Constitution anymore. They interpret it to their own means and own special things. And I'd like to point out to everybody who keeps denying Jordan is that the world is at war. They have strong leaders in the foreign countries at war. That is what they like. Strong leaders from a strong country. Currently, that's not America. And Jim Jordan is a strong leader in the House. And we need a strong leader, not somebody who's going to wishy-wash.
Okay, independent line. Bernard, hello.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. So I'm an independent, but I lean conservative. And I'm supporting Jim Jordan for the nomination. I've been hearing a lot of comments about, he's an election denier, a MAGA extremist, et cetera. And, when it comes down to it, making America great again or America first shouldn't be a controversial stance. And the longer we hold out on the House Speaker nomination, quite frankly, I think we're saving the American taxpayer dollars because we're not sending more money to various conflicts around the world. I keep hearing about how the House is in disarray and in chaos, but this is what democracy is called, right? This is how it works. Democrats stick together when they come to the House floor, right? But yet the Republicans are being, characterized, as occultists, right? Well, the fact that you have folks within the Republican Party that do have disagreements and a different viewpoint on an issue tells you that they're not cultists.
Okay.
They are
That's Bernard there. Again, three members yet to cast their presence as far as the call of the House is concerned. We are set after that to start the process of the nomination of the House Speaker. Nancy in California, Democrats line. Don't know how much time we have, but Nancy, jump on in.
Good morning. The next Speaker of the House should be someone who's interested in protecting the civil rights of every person in this country. That includes voting rights. That includes reproductive freedom for women. That is not Jim Jordan. That is Hakeem Jeffries. Thank you.
Okay. From Bakersfield, California, Republican line, Daniel, hello.
I'm a veteran, and I sat there and I watched this little thing go on here, and I'm disgusted by it. We see veterans, could lose money. We see, and I see this stuff about, using the Constitution, saying "we the people," when I see them Republicans, they're trying to, distort things like taking away books, taking away things, and they say they're the unifying party right now, and I'm kind of on the bubble of switching because I don't think they know what the truth is anymore.
Well, how does that relate to the House Speaker election?
Well, I look at Jim Jordan and I sat there and I see he hasn't passed anything. He hasn't, he's not working to anything. I called Kevin McCarthy's office the other day about this, and they just ignored me, and I think that Jim Jordan is a very poor person to be leading this party right now, because he's not looking to help the country, but he's looking to help tear it down.
And being from Bakersfield, what did you think of Kevin McCarthy in the Speaker's role?
Well, again, I think he's better than Jim Jordan, but as I speak for some of the veterans here. I'm a social worker. That he has a hard time telling the truth. He's been promising the veterans, a new clinic here for at least 10 years, and it still hasn't gotten one. So his trust level is. But he is better than Jim Jordan. I would support him over.
Okay, let's go to our independent line. This is our line for others. Wayne in Texas. Hi.
Yes. Good evening. These congressmen, they act like kids in a nursery. Stand up and be a person, not a kid. You was voted in by the people. You should honor the vote, but also be a person that will stand up for the government and do what is right, not what is wrong. Our veterans, they fought for this country. Our older veterans, they fought for this country. Stand up and fight for this country. Stand with your people that voted you in. Don't just go and be looking for something, a gift from the people.
Okay, that's Wayne there in Texas. 15 minutes was set for this call, time relative being in this process, waiting on those final members to put their spots in before we start the process. This is Lisa in South Carolina, Democrats line. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, yes. I'm saddened. I'm afraid. I don't understand the people that are voting for Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan almost has a war against America, which he's an insurrectionist.
What? What's a war against America?
Win,
oh my God!
He's already said he's going to lock everybody else. He's going to tear down the justice system. He's going to impeach this person. That he's going to impeach people that don't even work for the government. America deserves more than that. We're a great country. We're great people. We have far more good people than these people show themselves to be. The small little dissidents, I'm not even sure why they allowed them to even make this move. So I'm really sad. He's an insurrectionist. He's not a patriot. He hasn't done anything but scream and attack. And he's against everything. The rights of women.
Okay, that's Lisa there in South Carolina. We showed you a list of names of specifically those who voted against Representative Jordan yesterday, 20 of those names there. And one of the things you may want to see play out during the course of the day in this second vote is if those names will change from yesterday, if there'll be an addition of names who vote against Jim Jordan, if there'll be a change in names who actually vote for Jim Jordan when it comes to House Speaker. And you can watch that play out again when you watch C-SPAN, our main channel. You can follow along on the app and the .org too. This is from Olivia Beavers of Politico reporting that the representative was talking to Representative Garbarino, a current no on the House floor. So that's part of that plays out. Then there's also other reporting being done as people wait for this election to take place. Let's hear from Arizona, Republican line. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely Jim Jordan would be not a very good candidate since he's a insurrectionist, just like Donald J. Trump, who has all these charges against him, and no one's even looking at that. And a president that says he doesn't have to follow the Constitution after making the pledge for taking under oath that he would protect our Constitution. Now he doesn't seem to have to. That's why I switched to become a Republican Party, and I do believe that either Christie would be a good president or Nikki Haley. Definitely none of these other ones, and I believe that every senator should have term limits. This is ridiculous that they can be in the House for years and do absolutely nothing.
Okay, that's a viewer there in Arizona. Again, down to one from the initial number that we started with in this call of the House. Some things being reported on as far as things going on the House when it comes to Representative Jim Jordan, again, who is waiting to see, along with everyone else, if there'll be enough votes for him to become the next Speaker of the House. Devin in Colorado, independent line.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hi, you're on. Go ahead.
Jim Jordan. Thank you. Jim Jordan and the Ohio State abuse scandal. Richard Strauss. I don't know why he's not getting pressed on this more. He has no values. That in and of itself disqualifies him from this job. I know people in his own district do not like him. So thank you for your time.
Some of the reporting there, Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News, saying that it was Representative
You're
Jordan
always going to
talking
have
to
people
Republican
in your
leadership,
district who don't
floor
like
staff during this process. As you
Here's
watch play out, he
here's
went
the
up to the
big
Speaker's
issue
chair, talked to
that with
Speaker
the
Pro
whole,
Tem Patrick McHenry, and so
gripe
what that means, who knows? But
about the Ohio football controversy with the abuse. I have not seen. I'm asking anybody to come to me with a memo that was passed around, emails that were exchanged, text messages that were exchanged, that Jim Jordan knew anything. He has said that he didn't. The only evidence that I've seen was like, well, he was right next to all our lockers. His office was right there. I have yet to hear anything about memos that were exchanged, emails, text messages, anything that indicates that he heard anything at any time. And that's kind of why people aren't really harping on about it too much, because they're trying to harp on about something that there isn't any real definitive proof about.
Hi, I speak on behalf of
well,
the students from
he
Hendersonville
had
High School, and
he
we
had
as
to know,
17-year-olds
because laughter talk.
believe that this nation is divided, and that what we really
Whatever you
need right
say.
now is for this nation to come together to just be able to vote on a Speaker of the House so we can figure out this whole mess that we're in the United States.
tell us more about your group and why you're particularly interested in this race.
We're in an AP government class right now, so we get to learn about current events and things that are going on in the nation. And obviously there's a lot going on, but that's what we've been learning about right now.
What have you learned from watching it from a classroom setting? What have you learned about the process?
We've learned about like the divisiveness, the division in the country and what it really means for a Speaker of the House, like what they have to do. And we think it's extremely important to have one because we didn't really know what a Speaker of the House was, but now we know, and we know exactly why we need one.
When it comes to the debate in your
She's
classroom,
probably
as far
one
as
that's
the
being the
speaker
most
itself,
accurate and
is it
honest
evenly
here.
divided? Are there more? Are there those who support Jim Jordan, those who are against him? How does that break down?
It's very
I've had to
divided
go back
in
and ask
class
myself,
right now.
what
We've been
exactly
debating
does the
about it
Speaker
all
of the
week.
House do?
Okay.
And
Keep
I had to
watching,
look
and
into
thank
it,
you for
'cause I
watching our
honestly
network as part of
never really
your
thought.
educational process when it comes to this play out. Appreciate students who watch, particularly AP classes all across the United States. Their interest in history and government. Again, thanks for calling in. Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting that centrist Republicans, as they're described, are serious about this idea of giving powers to the current Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. That's something that's being played out there. Democrats reportedly also watching that. It's the plan from Representative Dave Joyce, still highly secreted according to Sarah Ferris, expected to include language on a continuing resolution as well, including aid packages for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, and also the McHenry powers. So that's a new twist of reporting. Whether it plays out or not, we'll see. But that's Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting there. Again, we are down to this call of the House, which started well over 20, 25 minutes ago, probably longer than that, to establish the quorum to go into the voting process. We're waiting on a lone person to cast their slot in, and then we'll start the process out as far as the voting is concerned. Republican line, Christy in Missouri. Hi there. You're next up. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I need everyone to know Matt Gaetz is a hero. He made Kevin McCarthy. He tried to make him keep his promises that he made, and he didn't.
Okay. That's Christy there. By the way, our own congressional watcher who watches Congress for you, so you don't have to, so to speak, is Craig Kaplan. He is on Capitol Hill, posting on his Twitter feed. You can follow him too there at Craig Kaplan. That the lone holdout so far to that one number that you see, Representative Donald Payne, Democrat from New Jersey, not voted yet. So that's, again, more information you can learn from Craig at Craig Kaplan, who watches Capitol Hill for us. Let's hear from Daniel in San Francisco, Democrats line.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. So I think like the best speaker would definitely be Hakeem Jeffries, but I'd say if Jim Jordan doesn't succeed with the Republicans and they decide to go with the strange strategy of putting Trump up, I would rather say that we followed Jamie Raskin's thing that he floated where he suggested that Liz Cheney might be a good option. And yeah, I would, while she's the best candidate, she would be way better than the alternatives that we're seeing so far.
In
Liz
Florida,
Cheney.
Independent line, Heidi, good morning.
Please.
Hi. I used to be a Republican. After Trump got into office, I switched parties and became an independent. I feel that extremists on either side is not good for our country. And I would prefer to see Hakeem Jeffries there, but if not, I would say McHenry would be a better choice. Jordan, he snubbed his nose at a subpoena. He's an extremist. He's in bed with Donald Trump, and he would do his bidding, just like he's got the inquiry of impeachment against President Biden right now with no evidence whatsoever. So he's as corrupt as most of those right-wing extremists are. All of them have problems, so I wouldn't want to see him there at all.
South Carolina Republican line, Beverly, hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I feel like we need a speaker now, and Jordan's the next one to vote for, so I feel like the Republicans should stick together and vote for Jordan. But I wish we'd all love each other, regardless of our parties, that we would love our country and God enough to do what is right. I feel like we need to get back with God. Thank you.
Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News there reporting on his Twitter feed. You can follow along at Jake Sherman, saying now that Representative Mike Kelly approaching the Speaker Pro Tem Patrick McHenry You'll remember, maybe not know, that Representative Kelly has a resolution to empower McHenry. We'll take you back to the House.
All members recorded. Clerk will report. On this roll call, 432 members have recorded their presence. The question now recurs on the election of a speaker. The tellers will please come forward to take their seats. If the tellers will please come forward and take their seats. Tellers. The gentleman, Mr. Stile. The gentleman, Mr. Loudermilk. The gentlelady from Alabama. Ms. Sewell, prompt. Thank you. All right. The nominations are now in order. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of placing in nomination the name of the Honorable Jim Jordan for the position of Speaker of the House at the direction of the Republican Congress.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks and 1 day ago, I was on this House floor and in this chamber defending my very good friend and our former Speaker, Mr. McCarthy, from an effort to vacate the chair. And in the course of that speech, I made the remark that those who did this, whether intentionally or unintentionally, we're going to put the Congress in a state of chaos and the country into a state of uncertainty. I think the last 2 weeks have vindicated that observation. But we have a chance today to end that chaos and to end that uncertainty. Now, when these races happen, there's always a lot of hard things said on both sides of the aisle. There's a lot of finger pointing that goes on. I don't intend to be involved in any of that today. I think the decision in front of us is far, far too important for that. But I am very proud to place in nomination the name of our good friend, my good friend, our Republican candidate for Speaker, the Honorable Jim Jordan of Ohio.
Enough pontificating. Let's vote.
I've had the privilege of knowing Jim Jordan for a long time. I've been in Congress for a long time. So for his entire period in the House, I've had the honor of serving with my friend. Now, my friend is not exactly a shrinking violet. You don't win national championships in college. You don't come to this floor with a sincere set of beliefs and a desire to make a change and be shy about it. And my friend is not a shy person. But I've learned some things about him over the years. He is a person of absolute personal integrity. I've never once had to question something that he told me. He's an honorable man. Also, I think we all know he's a pretty direct man, too. I don't think anybody in here on any issue of any substance would have to guess where Jim Jordan is going to stand. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't dissemble. He simply tells you straight up, this is what I believe, this is why I think it's the right thing to do for the country, and that's what I'm going to try and accomplish, and I'm going to work with you in any way that I can to do it. Now, the other thing I think we've found in the last couple of weeks is what it takes to be a speaker. And the one thing I know, never having been one and never having aspired to be one, that it takes a spine of steel to do this job. My friend has that kind of determination, has that kind of character, has that kind of spine. And I think the next speaker is going to need that quality, and I know my friend has it in great abundance. Now, if you're a Republican, it ought to be a pretty easy decision, my friends. You know, this is somebody who believes what we believe and has fought for and shown that over and over again. You know, when I first got to know him, a lot of his focus was on spending. That's exactly where the focus of this House ought to be. Now, he's laid out a plan, not just a short-term plan, as to how we deal with the appropriations process. I'm an appropriator. I think I know that that's not the root of the problem. But unlike any other speaker we've had, he's had the courage to talk about a long-term plan and to get at the real drivers of debt. And we all know what they are. We all know it's Social Security. We all know it's Medicare. We all know it's Medicaid. No president of either side has been willing to deal with this. No speaker of either side has been willing to deal with this. My friend, our former colleague, John Delaney, and I offered a plan. I still file it every year. John's not here anymore. To go back and do in 1983 what we did then and address Social Security. We never can get any help. This is a guy that wants to create a debt commission, a bipartisan debt commission, and get at the roots of our spending problem. That takes courage. And Republicans ought to support somebody with that kind of courage. Now, he's not only focused on one thing. I don't know anybody
I feel like
who's done more
I don't really know why we need a commission to do that. I feel like we know what the problem is.
Border disaster that is underway right now as we speak.
I suppose that could be a good thing.
You know, I had the privilege of serving here when Jay Johnson was Secretary of Homeland Security. I have a very high opinion of Jay Johnson. I think he's one of the finest public servants I ever met. And he was asked on one occasion to define what was a crisis on the southern border. And he said, anytime you have more than 1,000 illegal entries a day, you have a crisis. We have 10 or 11 times that every single day. And in that tide of humanity that's coming across, there is a boatload of fentanyl coming to kill tens of thousands of all of our constituents. There are human traffickers who are taking advantage of young men and young women and, frankly, predators in our own country, and they're bringing them across, not by the tens or the 20s or the dozens, but by the hundreds and the thousands. You know, there are amongst that flow of people, people that wish us ill, people who are not fleeing from oppression, people who are terrorists or criminals that are coming into our country for no good reason. Now, that is not an immigration problem. That's a border security problem. They are not the same thing. We can debate immigration. That's a worthy debate. We should never have to debate border security. Nobody's highlighted that issue like my friend Jim Jordan. Nobody's done more as a committee chairman to move legislation that would meaningfully deal with this problem. And this, my friends, on both sides of the aisle, but with all due respect, particularly this administration and my friends on the other side, you need to look at this. You need to look at this seriously. Don't confuse it with immigration. You ain't going to have immigration reform until we have border security. Cannot be done. This has been the #1 champion of that. It's one of the #1 issues that we have. Finally, I want to talk about something that can bring us together. There are a lot of things we disagree on, legitimately so. Most of us do not disagree about the security of the state of Israel. All of us. all of us on both sides of the aisle reacted with horror and with deep sympathy and with legitimate outrage at the crime that was perpetrated against the people of Israel in the last week. All of us, and all of us know that they are within their rights to respond forcefully and swiftly to defend their people and punish those who brought that upon them. So at a moment of crisis, and we are in a moment of crisis, we should come together and act. And we know we can't do that without a Speaker of the House. Now, it's a narrow majority, but my friends and I are in the majority. And we need to produce a Speaker. We have a candidate who we know where he will stand on issues that are important. We know where he's going to stand on spending because it's where he's always stood. Not like he's changed over the course of his career. I know what he's going to do on the border. I've read H.R. 2. I've seen what his committee produced. And it's not just money, it's policy and change that will provide security for the American people. And finally, and I say this on a bipartisan basis, I know he will stand up for Israel, and I know in that area we can come together. That crisis is on us now. We may get a request almost any time to act. We need to be able to act. My friend will act on that crisis. He's shown it his whole career. So it's with a great deal of pride that I have the privilege of nominating my friend, our chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but a person whose principles you know, whose actions you can trust, and who in a time of crisis will respond with the leadership we need. Jim Jordan.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I rise today at the direction of the House Democratic Caucus to place into nomination for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Here we are again, Mr. Speaker. And I promise to make these speeches shorter if we get closer to a compromise, but I'm not certain that that's going to happen at this moment. While the Republican candidate for Speaker is making late-night backroom deals to secure the gavel, Leader Jeffries has once again extended the hand of bipartisanship for a path forward. One thing was very clear yesterday: the vote total, 220, 212 to 200. The People's House has spoken, and Leader Jeffries has the support to be Speaker that this country needs.
A week ago, I would have told you, nah, there's no way that none of them are going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries on the Republican side, but I'm to the point.
212 to 200.
I don't know, but at this
no
point,
amount of election
their
denying
speech to
is
try to
gonna
get him elected
take
seems
away
desperate.
from those vote totals. We shouldn't, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we shouldn't be surprised at the vote count. I noted yesterday the legislative acumen of the gentleman from Ohio. Would it surprise anyone that in addition to not passing a single piece of legislation, he's never put a piece of legislation that has made it to a committee? The Speaker of the House must be a legislator, and the gentleman from Ohio falls short in that regard. He supports an extreme agenda
I'm
and is
surprised
hell-bent
that Hakeem
on banning
Jeffries
abortion
House?
nationwide.
I'm not very familiar
Gutting
with this
Medicare,
honestly.
gutting Social Security, and giving cover to January 6th attackers. Those aren't the values that we share. If we don't see a speaker elected in this round, there's going to be another candidate and another internal Republican conference vote and a secret ballot, and the country can't afford more delays and more chaos. 15 days should be enough.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. I mean, he's not wrong there.
House Democrats are united on this path forward. We're united behind Hakeem Jeffries, united to put people over politics, and united to lower costs, create better paying jobs, build safer communities, and defend democracy. And once again, we're coming together to achieve this common goal, and that is to make Hakeem Jeffries Speaker of the House of Representatives.
I don't blame you for feeling that way. Not at all.
Almost, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Hakeem Jeffries has done what we haven't seen from the other side of the aisle, and that is to keep a caucus united. When extreme MAGA Republicans vowed to send our country into a devastating default, it was Leader Jeffries who led House Democrats to reject the extremism and keep the government open. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we have the vote totals to back that up. It has been Leader Jeffries and House Democrats who have shown a willingness and a conviction to keep our promise to deliver for American families. And it will be Hakeem Jeffries who will move our body and our country forward on a bipartisan path. Who on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, will take yes for an answer and work with us to achieve 3 common goals? And my colleague and good friend, the gentleman from Oklahoma, mentioned one of them. Supporting assistance to Israel, but what he left out was assistance to Ukraine and our national security objectives.
We'll use our ban for naughty wars. There's definitely a lot of platitudes and BS that
Second,
comes out on these
above
things.
all else, we must commit to keep
But
this government open and functioning.
For some reason, at this point, Representative Aguilar is definitely seeming really desperate to try to make Hakeem seem like a viable candidate.
And
more
finally,
than they were the day
Mr. Speaker
before,
Pro
from what I
Tem, we
can
need to
remember.
put this body on a bipartisan path to achieve real results
makes me
for
wonder
the
what
American
he's
public.
heard
That is
about
what
where
we
the
were
vote
sent to do.
stands and whether
That
or
is what
not
we
he's
need
talked
to
to some
do.
Republicans
That is
about
why
whether or
Hakeem
not they
Jeffries
might
is the leader we
go
need
along with
at this time to lead this chamber. I'd like to nominate Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House. I yield back.
Oh boy, they're really pushing it hard. Trying to.
No further nominations.
Really,
The
really,
Reading
really
Clerk will
desperate
now
to make
call
sure that
the roll.
Jordan
Adams.
doesn't get voted in.
Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries. All four.
I wanted. Normally,
Jordan.
C-SPAN
Allen.
shows the count on screen.
Jordan.
Keeps track of it.
All
for
red.
us.
Jeffries. Amadei. Jordan. Armstrong. Jordan. Arrington.
And they're not doing that.
Jordan.
It's weird. Let me see.
Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy. Baird. Jordan. Balderson. Jordan. Ballant. Jeffries. Banks. Jordan. Barr. Jordan. Barragan. Jeffries. Bean of Florida. Jordan. Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. Jordan. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Jordan. Beyer. Jeffries. Bice. Jordan. Biggs. Jordan. Bilirakis. Jordan. Bishop of Georgia. Jeffries. Bishop of North Carolina.
Okay, here
Jordan.
we go. Now they're showing it.
Blumenauer.
Almost about missed it there.
Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Boebert. Jordan. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bost. Jordan. Bowman. Jeffries.
What?
Boyle of
What are
Pennsylvania.
you talking about?
Jeffries. Burkeen. Jordan. Brown.
Oh. Okay.
Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Donalds.
Doc Wonder says, thank you for posting with the count totals on Rumble. Well, that actually wasn't me. That's C-SPAN. So you can thank
Emmer.
C-SPAN for that. Initially, I wasn't seeing it, and it didn't look like they were going to have it, and then they popped it up, which I was thankful for. What I wish that they would immediately show is who voted for
Bouchon.
who. Keep a running total of that.
Jordan. Basinski. Jeffries.
Because already we have 3 people who have voted other. Like, what the fuck? Seriously?
Jordan. Burgess. Jordan. Burleson.
Doc
Jordan.
Wonder says, I know, but thanks anyway.
Bush.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jeffries. Calvert. Jordan. Kamek. Jordan. Caraveo. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries. Carey.
Doc Wonder on Rumble
Jordan.
says, I know, right? We can only lose 4.
Carl.
We definitely cannot lose
Jordan.
very many at all.
Carson. Jeffries.
It's very, I
Carter
thought the
of
number
Georgia.
was closer to,
Jordan.
I was thinking
Carter
the number
of
was closer to 8,
Louisiana.
but maybe I'm longer. I might be wrong about that.
Jeffries. Carter of Texas. Jordan. Cartwright. Jeffries. Kassar. Jeffries. Case. Jeffries. Caston.
I know that if any of these yahoos
Jeffries.
from the Republican side
Castor of
vote
Florida.
present, like they did with McCarthy,
Jeffries.
which lowered
Castro
the threshold,
of Texas.
that would be
Jeffries.
that would be a way for
Chavez de Rima.
Jeffries to be made speaker.
McCarthy.
And honestly, until this all started, I just assumed the Speaker of the House was always had to be somebody from the majority. Over the years, I
Sherfulus
hadn't paid close
McCormick.
enough attention. I didn't know
Jeffries.
A Democrat
Chu.
could be House Speaker when
Jeffries.
the Republicans were
Cisco
the
Mining.
one with the majority. I didn't.
Jordan.
That seems like, for some reason, that seems like a weird
Clark
thing.
of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries. Klein. Jordan. Cloud. Jordan. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde.
Oh, great. The numbers that have voted for others is now
Jordan.
4.
Cohen. Jeffries.
That could be a bad thing.
Cole. Jordan. Collins. Jordan. Comer. Jordan. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Jordan. Crawford. Jordan. Crenshaw. Jordan. Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries.
At least Crenshaw voted for Jordan.
Cuellar.
So that's good.
Jeffries. Curtis.
I used to think Jordan, the guy,
Jordan.
Crenshaw, the guy with the eye patch, I used to
Davis
think that
of Kansas.
he was pretty cool. I kind of liked him.
Jeffries.
And then he just went so
Davison.
extreme with his Ukraine
Jordan.
support. It was just kind of like,
Davis
wow.
of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette. Jeffries. Dela Cruz. Jordan. DeLauro. Jeffries. Del Bene. Jeffries. DeLuzio. Jeffries. DeSaulnier. Jeffries. Desjardins. Jordan. D'Esposito. Zeldin. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Dingle. Jeffries. Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds. Jordan. Duarte. Jordan. Duncan.
Great. 6
Jordan.
voted for others. That's just lovely.
Dunn of Florida. Jordan. Edwards. Jordan. LZ. Mike Garcia. Emmer. Jordan. Escobar. Jeffries. Eshu. Jeffries. Espaillat. Jeffries. Estes, Jordan, Evans, Jeffries, Azell, Jordan, Fallon, Jordan, Finstra,
I would agree with that.
Jordan.
I would really like for them to
Ferguson.
decide this Doc Wonder and get this decided
Scalise,
before I have to go to work at 3:30. But if this number 7 means that he does not have
Finstad,
enough votes, then
Jordan.
that's not going to happen.
Fishbach, Jordan, Fitzgerald, Jordan, Fitzpatrick, Jordan, Fleischman, Jordan, Fletcher, Jeffries, Flood, Jordan,
God, why are we up to
Foster.
8?
Jeffries, Fushi, Jeffries, Fox, Jordan, Lois Frankel, Jeffries, Scott Franklin, Jordan, Frost,
They just confirmed Representative Jordan does
Jeffries.
not have the votes third
Fry,
speaker vote expected.
Jordan.
Yep. And for all I know, they're going to be
Fulcher.
like, well, we did our job.
Jordan,
We voted once
Gates.
today, so now we gotta
Jordan.
recess because we gotta
Gallagher.
argue amongst ourselves
Jordan,
to try to get them to
Gallego.
vote the way we want.
Jeffries,
Fuck them
Garamendi.
all. Fuck every single one of them.
Jeffries, Garbarino, Zeldin, Mike Garcia, Jordan, Robert Garcia, Jeffries,
Hey, user has been banned for
Garcia
naughty
of
words on
Illinois.
YouTube.
Jeffries,
I don't want to
Garcia
get
of Texas,
myself banned on
Jeffries.
YouTube, so
Jimenez,
chill it out a little bit.
McCarthy, Golden of Maine, Jeffries, Goldman of New York, Jeffries, Gomez, Jeffries, Tony Gonzalez, Scalise, Vicente Gonzalez, Jeffries, Good of Virginia, Jordan, Gooden of Texas, Jordan, Gosar, Jordan, Gottheimer, Jeffries, Granger,
This is so beyond stupid.
Scalise,
Like, what's the point of even watching it anymore? It's just like,
Graves of Louisiana, Jordan, Graves of Missouri, Jordan, Green of Tennessee, Jordan, Green of Texas, Jeffries, Green of Georgia, Jordan, Griffith, Jordan, Grijalva, Jeffries, Grothman,
oh, well,
Grothman,
I'm sorry to see you go,
Jordan.
Doc Wonder, but
Guest,
thanks. I mean, they
Jordan.
could end up having another vote immediately,
Guthrie.
and maybe
Jordan.
they'll do what they did with
Hageman.
McCarthy when they had the endless rounds of voting. But
Jordan. Harder
they've
of
been
California.
reluctant to do that this time around.
Jeffries. Harris. Jordan. Harshbarger. Jordan. Hayes. Jeffries. Hearn. Jordan. Higgins of Louisiana. Jordan. Higgins of New York. Jeffries. Hill. Jordan. Himes. Jeffries. Henson. Jordan. Horsford. Jeffries. Houchin. Jordan. Houlihan. Jeffries. Hoyer. Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon. Jeffries. Hudson. Jordan. Huffman. Jeffries. Huizinga. Jordan. Hunt. Jordan. Isa. Jordan. Ivy. Jeffries. Jackson of Illinois. Jeffries. Jackson of North Carolina. Jeffries. Jackson of Texas. Jordan. Jackson Lee. Jeffries. Jacobs. Jeffries. James. Miller Meeks. Candace Miller of Michigan.
House will come to order. The clerk will continue.
Jayapal.
Well, if
Jeffries.
I mean, if
Jeffries.
they're in your district, then yeah, you cannot.
Jeffries.
You would have to know those. They'd have to be in their district. That's all.
Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries.
I think you should just
Johnson
make
of
it a general
Louisiana.
practice to encourage
Jordan.
people to
Johnson of
in
Ohio.
that district not to vote for them. Blow up
Jordan.
their phone lines.
Johnson of South Dakota. Jordan. 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 Joyce of Ohio. Jordan. Joyce of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Kemlager Dove. Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey. Jordan.
At least we can say
Keating.
that Jordan will get more votes than what
Jeffries.
he did last time. So I guess that's good.
Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Jordan. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
Boehner.
Bader? What? What
Kana.
the? Bro, Bader? What is the matter with you?
Kana. Jeffries. Higgins of Virginia. McCarthy. Kildee. Jeffries. Kiley. Jordan. Kilmer. Jeffries. Kim of California. Jordan. Kim of New Jersey. Jeffries. Krishnamurthy. Jeffries. Custer. Jeffries. Kustoff. Jordan. LaHood. Jordan. Lalota. Zeldin. LaMalfa. Jordan. Lamborn. Lamborn. Jordan. Landsman. Jeffries. Langworthy. Jordan. Larson of Washington. Jeffries. Larson of Connecticut. Jeffries. Latta. Jordan. LaTurner. Jordan. Lawler.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy. Lee of California. Jeffries. Lee of Florida. Jordan. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko. Jordan. Letlow. Jordan. Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries. Lofgren. Jeffries. Loudermilk. Jordan. Lucas. Jordan. Lukemeyer. Jordan. Luna. Jordan. Luttrell. Jordan. Lynch. Jeffries. Mace. Jordan. Magaziner. Jeffries. Maliotakis. Jordan. Mann. Jordan. Manning. Jeffries. Massey. Jordan. Mast. Jordan. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath. Jeffries. McCarthy. Jordan. McCall. Jordan. McLean. Jordan. McClellan. Jeffries. McClintock. Jordan. McCollum. Jeffries. McCormick. Jordan. McGarvey. Jeffries. McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Jordan. Meeks. Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries. Ming. Jeffries. Muser. Jordan. Mfume. Jeffries. Miller of Illinois. Jordan. Miller of Ohio. Jordan. Miller of West Virginia. Jordan. Miller Meeks. Granger. Mills. Jordan. Molinaro. Jordan. Molinar. Jordan. Mooney. Jordan. Moore of Alabama. Jordan. Moore of Utah. Jordan. Moore of Wisconsin. Jeffries.
We're up to almost 20
Moran.
again. This
Jordan.
is ridiculous.
Morelli.
Absolutely
Jeffries.
fucking ridiculous.
Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. Jordan. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Nagoose. Jeffries. Nels. Jordan. Newhouse. Jordan. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Jordan. Nunn of Iowa. Jordan. Obernolte. Jordan. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles. Jordan. Omar. Jeffries. Owens. Jordan. Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Jordan. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquarel. Jeffries. Payne. Payne. Pelosi. Jeffries. Peltola. Jeffries. Pence. Jordan. Perez. Perez. Jeffries. Perry. Jordan. Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries. Pfluger. Jordan. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan. Jeffries. Porter. Jeffries. Posey. Jordan. Presley. Jeffries. Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries. Reschenthaler. Jordan. Rogers of Washington. Jordan. Rogers of Alabama. Jordan. Rogers of Kentucky. Jordan. Rose. Jordan. Rosendale. Jordan. Ross. Jeffries. Rouser. Jordan. Roy. Jordan. Ruiz. Jeffries. Rupersberger. Jeffries. Rutherford. Scalise. Ryan. Jeffries. Salazar. Jordan. Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez. Jeffries. Santos. Jordan. Sarbanes. Jeffries. Scalise.
Okay, now I'm pissed at Gates.
Jordan.
Because I'm going to read to you what he posted on Twitter.
Scanlon. Jeffries. Schakowsky. Jeffries.
Actually, he retweeted Tim,
Jeffries.
Representative Tom Tiffany.
Snyder.
Jim Jordan received support from 90% of the House Republican Conference yesterday.
Skolton.
It's his time. No deal with the Democrats.
Jeffries.
Well, we know that's a
Schreier.
fucking lie. Because it looks like 19 of you just voted
Schweikert.
once again not to put him in office.
Austin Scott. Jordan. David Scott. Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Jordan. Sessions.
I don't typically yell.
Jordan. Sewell. Jeffries. Sherman.
But honestly, it's pretty bad when I'm
Jeffries.
this pissed.
Sherrill. Jeffries. Simpson. Scalise. Slotkin. Jeffries. Smith of Missouri. Jordan. Smith of Nebraska. Jordan. Smith of New Jersey. Jordan. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker. Jordan. Sorensen. Jeffries. Soto. Jeffries. Spanberger. Jeffries. Sparts. Sparts. Stansberry. Jeffries. Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Westerman.
Wait, now we have more than we fucking did yesterday! For the love of God.
Steele. Jordan. Stefanik. Jordan. Style. Jordan. Stubbe. Jordan. Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland. Jeffries. Strong. Jordan. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano. Jeffries. Tenney. Jordan. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California.
Yesterday
Jeffries.
we were at 20. Now we're at
Thompson
21.
of Mississippi.
So how high is this going to go? I wonder how many.
Jeffries.
I don't even know how much we have left.
Thompson of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Tiffany. Jordan.
This is a complete, utter
Timmons.
fucking disaster.
Jordan. Titus. Jeffries. Talib. Talib. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko. Jeffries.
And it's probably what we're. That's
Torres
probably
of
what we're gonna do.
California.
We're probably gonna go
Jeffries.
another damn day
Torres of New York.
and break. That's what I'm expecting to happen.
Jeffries.
What I'm expecting to happen is that they're gonna break again
Trahan.
instead of
Jeffries.
just do one vote after another.
Trone.
I was hoping we'd get this solved before I had to go into work at 3:30, but that's not happening.
Turner. Jordan. Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo. Jordan. Van Drew.
The Honorable Jim Jordan.
Jordan. Van Dyne. Jordan. Van Orden. Jordan. Vargas. Jeffries. Vasquez. Jeffries. Vesey. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries. Wagner. Jordan. Wahlberg. Jordan. Waltz. Jordan. Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters. Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. Jordan. Webster of Florida. Jordan. Winstrup. Jordan. Westerman.
Fuck, I think I was completely muted during that whole entire rant.
Jordan.
I was trying to tell you, we're
Wexton.
professionals here.
Jeffries.
If they had wanted
Wild.
Matt Gaetz to wait
Jeffries.
a month, there
Williams
was multiple
of
of them.
Georgia.
That's why Lauren Boebert was like,
Jeffries.
I'm voting no
Williams of New
for
York.
now. Because they knew
Jordan.
that this is what was going to happen.
Williams of Texas.
They knew that there would be dozens of things that they were
Jordan.
supposed to have been voted on,
Wilson
and
of
it wasn't going to get
Florida.
voted on. But I don't
Jeffries.
know if any of them knew that it was going to end
Wilson
up
of
being
South
quite
Carolina.
this bad.
Jordan.
This is what they were afraid
Whitman.
of happening. They were afraid of the process of trying to
Jordan.
get somebody else elected
Womack.
would eat into their time,
Scalise.
and it has. We are ridiculously, dangerously close to Hakeem Jeffries having enough
Yakum.
votes. Ridiculous.
Jordan. Zinke.
And all
Jordan.
because Matt Gaetz couldn't wait a month. His heart was in the right place. His timing completely sucked.
We gotta go back through. I got Payne missing. I got Sparks missing. And I got Talib missing. And Trey. Okay. So you should have 4 missing. Let me get my pen. Hang on. Your first one is gonna be Mr. Payne.
I'm so pissed. And I think Hakeem got 211 last time, so did a Democrat jump ship this time?
The reading clerk will now call the names of the members who did not answer the first call of the roll.
Payne. Jeffries.
Fuck.
Sparks. Jordan.
Let's see, 199. Okay, Talib's next.
Talib. Jeffries.
Surprise, surprise. Holy. I want to cry right now. I absolutely want to.
Trone. Jeffries.
I am absolutely about ready to cry. I am so incredibly pissed. We went backwards! Matt Gaetz was literally on Twitter trying to sound like there was a path forward. Bullshit! Yeah, I'm starting to think he's a dumb fuck as well. But I'm glad the Democrat didn't show up in time. At least he didn't pull a fucking fire alarm because of it. This is just unbelievable. Absolutely fucking unbelievable. It's just fucking unbelievable. What I don't want them to do is, please, for the love of God, do not break for the day. Hold speeches. Let people go on the record for this is what I did and this is why. Publicly.
With that process done and the numbers there on the screen, now the tallying finishing up and paperwork to be signed, and then it's on to next steps. As far as what next steps specifically, nobody knows at this point, but Representative Jim Jordan with 199 members of Congress supporting him, Republicans, he got 200 yesterday, you'll remember. Hakeem Jeffries with the same 212 from his Democratic coalition, and then 22 voting against Representative Jordan, nobody voting present. And so this is finishing up, and we'll wait and see what next steps are as the paperwork and the final dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's is done.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I've never screamed into my microphone the way that I have today. Well, if you like the way that I scream in the microphone, please donate so that I don't scream more. Unbelievable. I kid you not. Matt Gaetz was trying to make it out like, oh, we're closer than we were before. He went behind. He lost votes. He lost them. Matt Gaetz is, I think I was muted. Matt Gaetz has been joining some Twitter spaces. And, I hope that, he will be joining that and he will explain how the fuck he lost votes. I mean, granted, won, but that's not even the point. We were supposed to be going forward. It's like, at some point, you gotta get somebody in there. Even if it's not someone that's gonna be 100% everything that we want them to be. I don't see how it benefits our country to go on like this indefinitely. Because anyone that's going to be trying to defund Ukraine is not going to get the votes. Because for some reason, I don't even know what I was going to say. I'm just... I completely lost my train of thought. Completely. It's just so... And people are gonna try to spin this and make excuses for it. Well, don't be... There was people that wanted him to wait a month. And he wouldn't do it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know what I was trying to say. Their main concern is getting somebody in there. Matt Gaetz' main concern is getting somebody in there that's not going to want to fund Ukraine. And I totally understand that, but that's not the only issue we have to be concerned about. That's not the only issue. And at some point, our government can't continue to be paralyzed like this. They're gonna have to find some sort of compromise if we want to get anything accomplished. I mean, I don't know. Because I understand the issues with not wanting to fund Ukraine. I totally get that. But it's just not having a majority in the Senate, it complicates things as well. Because we could vote on all sorts of shit in the House related to bills. But if we don't have a majority in the Senate, if we want to get something done, there has to be some compromising somewhere. Some of that is done, I think, at a local level. I don't know how much of that is the federal government and how much is the sanctuary cities. Doing things that they're now complaining about in New York and realizing that it has backfired tremendously on them. Nate the lawyer. I think he's both on YouTube and Rumble. He has done some great follow-up on that, some great work. I encourage you to check him out. Abolish these oligarchs in Congress. Congress is the root of all evil around the world. Says Bapon0402. I don't know that federal funding is what's allowing them to do that. I just don't know. I'd have to look into it more. You might be right. States' rights thing, I want states' rights. I want states to kind of be free to decide how they want to run things. But I'm wishing that we could start making sanctuary cities illegal. Can't be done. Not allowed to do it. Not doing it. But it's not looking like that's going to happen. So. In fact, I think the issue has even been litigated in the courts. I think. Respectfully, but hell no.
The House will come to order. The tellers agree in their tallies.
In a perfect world, they would be lowering
the total number of
our
votes
taxes
cast is 433,
board.
of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has
not
received
sending
199.
So much
The
of our
Honorable
money,
Hakeem
all
Jeffries
foreign
of the state of New York has
spending,
received 212.
all foreign aid should need a moratorium. That would be great, stars.
The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1. The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
I don't know if that... Maybe.
And that's the end result of the second day of voting on a House Speaker, not going the way for Representative Jim Jordan.
Illegal
next
at a
steps
federal
to be
level
determined as the House considers and leadership considers its next move. You can call in and talk about what you've seen that play out into the morning and into the afternoon. Republicans 202-748-8921. Democrats 202-748-8920. Others 202-748-8922. You can text us at 202-748-8903. You can post on X at C-SPAN, and Facebook is facebook.com/C-SPAN. Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman reporting that House Republicans now waiting upon Representative Jordan to decide his next move. That's per sources involved in the decision-making process. What we'll see play out is anybody's guess. We've been talking with legislators and throughout the course of this morning about this idea of expanding the current powers of the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. A debate going on between Republicans and Democrats over that was the the Democrat from Maryland, Steny Hoyer, on the steps of the Capitol talking about this idea, what he thinks of it. Here's a portion of that.
They will vote on.
Look, that would have to be a Republican initiative, and we'd have to discuss what the terms of that are. But it is important for us to get the Congress working on behalf of the American people. And the way we move forward is in a bipartisan fashion. That's the way we
of a third vote today. I don't think that they would just gavel out of session today having done nothing else, but that remains to be seen. With that said, I think it's safe to say that this was an unmitigated disaster for Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan's job here was solely to be able to, Jim Jordan's job here was solely to be able to chip away at those defectors. He had a number of people, 20 yesterday, who had opted to vote for somebody else. His job today was just to bring that number down, even if it was just by 1, to show that he had those last 18 hours to basically garner some support. He didn't do that. He actually lost a number of his colleagues. And so with no momentum right now, it seems like there's absolutely no path, no viable path forward for Jim Jordan to be the next speaker. I mean, if he couldn't flip any of those 20 Republican defectors, or to have a substantial number, the net total of 20 defectors to vote in his favor, I don't see how there's a planet in which he's able to do it now that there are 22. So again, things are moving decidedly in the wrong direction for Jim Jordan. And I presume at this point, we'll see one of two things. We'll either see Republicans land on what they think is a viable alternative to Jim Jordan, somebody who's not as extreme as Jim Jordan, which again would not be difficult, or on the flip side, they might introduce some resolution, which I think may have the support of some Democrats, to empower Patrick McHenry to become acting speaker with limited powers, probably to pass a budget and to pass foreign aid to countries like Ukraine and Israel. But that would be about it. And, we'll see what happens on those two fronts. I think that's what the conference is trying to figure out right now. But I think it's probably safe to say at this point that
I'm going to be working on some things in the background.
Jim Jordan moving forward.
I'm going to leave this up.
We can breathe a sigh of relief because Jim Jordan, I think it's safe to say, would be a worst case scenario, but I don't know that it's going to be much better depending on who the Republicans opt to empower otherwise.
Who the fuck is this guy?
And again, this whole time I'll look to see if we have any information as to whether they're going to come back or what time they'll come back. There was some reporting that suggests that Republicans are going into a conference meeting at 1:30 Eastern, so that's in about 9 minutes from now. And again, if we have any confirmation of any of that, I'll let you know.
I don't think this guy is... I had to step away from him. Did we switch streams on me?
Looking to find out if there's any information as to whether they're going to come back today. Not seeing anything right now. We don't have any news on that front. I think we're seeing a rerun right now of what we'd seen before.
Yeah. Where are...
The Senate CR, but you don't support this one?
Okay.
I don't even know where you came from. I stepped away for a minute.
So I am getting a few questions about why the House, and this is a question I've gotten repeatedly throughout the day today, why the House doesn't nominate someone like Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger. I don't think the Republican conference is looking to empower anyone who's not in their conference. And so, I mean, look, Liz Cheney came out against Donald Trump. Adam Kinzinger came out against Donald Trump. They were both excommunicated from the party. Liz Cheney lost her primary. Adam Kinzinger resigned because he knew he would lose his primary. And I think the last people that this Republican conference, which just, by the way, had 199 votes in favor of someone like Jim Jordan, is looking to then empower somebody who would be such a critic of the very Trumpism that Jim Jordan so thoroughly espouses. So I don't think we're going to see anything, any support in favor of Liz Cheney. You'd have more support from Democrats for Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger than you would from any Republicans. Just because they were Republicans before doesn't mean that you're going to get any of those Republicans now to support either one of those people. So I don't think you're going to get any Republicans to empower anyone who's not in the Republican conference right now, who's not serving right now in the House. They don't want to like export any of their power to anybody who isn't someone who's currently in power.
I gotta do some things here in the
Republican
background.
Party.
I'm gonna leave up whoever the hell this is.
Again, you can throw some questions in the chat as I continue to look for any information as to when we may see any news. Here's some news. We now have reporting from, I believe, Business Insider. Jordan says he is not dropping out. That's the spokesman for Jim Jordan has confirmed that Jim Jordan is not dropping out, which is on brand, actually.
I need to be trying to get ready for work, so actually I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Thank you all for joining. Maybe tomorrow will be...
On brand, that's someone who has minority support,
when I get off work.
who has been rejected
I do have a slight temperature.
on ballots, then takes that as a mandate to continue moving forward to rule. I mean, it is the perfect microcosm of what the MAGA wing of the Republican Party represents.
You too. Have a good one.
Repudiated at the ballot box, repudiated by the majority, and yet still thinks that he has some mandate to move forward and reign over everybody. You could not be more on brand than an election denier denying the outcome of yet another election. It is pitch perfect.